What's up, everybody? Nobody's here yet, and today I am going to read the news. Gonna try something new. I got nothing going on today, so I read it anyway, so I might as well just go over it on YouTube and read it out loud. And you know, it's always good to get practice reading out loud, so let's just read the news, and nobody is gonna come watch this because I gotta get a good title so people come. Here we go, reading the news. Alright. Trump signs order to eliminate ACA insurance rules, undermine marketplaces. Alright, let's read this one. It's from the Washington Post. Now let's watch the video first. Alright, these videos take so long to load on these websites, and if they give us an advertisement, here we go.
I will sign an executive order taking the first steps to providing millions of Americans with Obamacare relief. It directs the Department of Health and Human Services, the Treasury, and the Department of Labor to take action to increase competition, increase choice, and increase access to lower-priced, high-quality healthcare options. And they will have so many options.
So many options.
This will cost the United States government virtually nothing. And people will have great health care. And when I say people, I mean by the millions and millions.
Oh, that sounds great. Alright, so what this sounds like is, I'm going to put this on pause. They're giving us the ad after the video, so that's cool. So basically what this is looking like is Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act, or whatever it's called. The ACA, Affordable Care Act, is basically a structure of rules and policies and laws, and it took lawyers, and it's not like something that you can just take away in one go. It's like a building. You got to put it up piece by piece, and then you kind of got to take it down piece by piece, because if you just get rid of the whole thing, then people are left with nothing, and they need health care. So anyway, this just looks like it's an attempt to just start dismantling Obamacare. So, but the reason why it's good is because, one, this takes work, and two, they can fight this. So each one of these steps along the way is going to get fought, and it's going to take much longer than people think to get rid of Obamacare, or to you can easily say in Congress, yeah, we're getting rid of Obamacare, and but those are just words on a piece of paper. Actually dismantling it and getting rid of it is a totally different thing. So honestly, as long as these people just want to say they're doing something and not actually do anything, I'm fine with that. But that's my assumption. Let's read the article. President Trump signed an executive order today, on Thursday, intended to allow small businesses and potentially individuals to buy long disputed type health insurance that skirts state regulations and Affordable Care Act protections. Intended to allow small business to potentially... The White House and allies portray the president's move to expand access to association health plans as wielding administrative powers to accomplish what congressional Republicans have failed to achieve, tearing down the law's insurance marketplaces and letting some Americans buy skimpier coverage at lower prices. The order represents Trump's biggest step to carry out a broad but ill-defined directive he issued his first night in office for agencies to lessen ACA regulations from the Obama administration. Critics who include state insurance commissioners, most of the health insurance industry, and mainstream policy specialists predicted that a proliferation of such health plans will have damaging ripple effects, driving up costs for consumers with serious medical conditions, prompting insurance to flee the law's marketplaces. So, in order to... Wait, hold on a second. Let's see. I like portrays the press move to expand it. Basically, this has to do with the markets. So, the bigger the market is, so if you have a market that's the complete 100% health insurance market, you get what's called economies of scale, so things are cheaper and you can get better pricing. But if you have a small sample size of programs or products, you know what? I don't really get this one. It has to do with taking down the marketplaces. And honestly, I can't make a judgment on that. But I know that when they were putting this into place, it was important that the states had their own insurance marketplaces for themselves, and going to another state that had different regulations was going to be unacceptable for the Obama administration. So they had to put in protections to keep all the like say insurance policies in California. And something makes me think that this tears this down. But health care is too hard for me. Honestly, I don't really get it. Here we go from the New York Times. American women and family held for 5 years freed from militants. All right, let's read this one from the New York Times. And it's taking forever to load. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this to load up. Our American woman and family held for 5 years in Afghanistan freed from militants. Washington. An American woman and her Canadian husband who were held hostage by militants in Afghanistan for 5 years have been freed along with their young children. President Trump said on Thursday, ending a case that had long frustrated diplomats and the FBI agents trying to secure their release. Yeah, you'd think you'd be able to get them. Just send in one of those SEAL teams and just go get them. But they must have had tight security around this family. But that's still a long time for them to be held hostage. Pakistan's military said that through an intelligence-based operation, it took custody on Wednesday of the hostages from the Haqqani network, the Taliban faction that has seized Caitlin Coleman and her husband Josh. The Pakistani military pledged to repatriate them, and American intelligence agencies were tracking the hostages as they crossed into the rugged tribal areas of northwest Pakistan. Yeah, the Haqqani network is basically a group of Islamists that are tied to the Taliban. It's kind of it's not so much a jihadi group, but the political Islam group that stretches between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Let's scroll down. It's good we have these people back, though. The Trump administration and the Pakistani government worked together to free them, Mr. Trump said, but a senior American official said Pakistan's intelligence service arranged the handover from the family after being pressured by American officials. It was not clear what, if any, concessions were made to the Haqqani network to ensure the family's release. So if you have somebody that they probably wanted money, or who knows what they wanted, maybe to get some of their people released, because Pakistan has problems with these political Islam guys too, but just not as much as us, and Pakistan's kind of able to play us against each other, but that's another topic. Quote, "This is a positive movement for our country's relationship with Pakistan," Mr. Trump said. The Pakistan government's cooperation is a sign that it is honoring America's wishes for it to do more to provide security to the region. We hope to see this type of cooperation and teamwork in helping to secure the release of the remaining hostages in our future joint counterterrorism operations. Long story short, we can't depend on Pakistan to toe our line, so to speak. But every once in a while, something happens like this where they actually do kind of hook it up. Is it their fault that they can't really do more for us? No. I mean, Pakistani politics is so hard. They have new people in all the time. They're generals. They're people that are politicians. They get assassinated. It's just such a revolving door that I can't imagine it being very easy to do diplomatic type of stuff with the country. American officials were exploring ways to get the family out of South Asia, with Mr. Boyle possibly heading to Canada and his wife and children back to the United States. In an unusual moment on Wednesday night, Mr. Trump appeared to telegraph the family's impending release. All right, so these guys are out. Trump's, I'm sure he tries to take credit for everything. To me, this seems like something diplomats figured out. And we know that Trump is not a big fan of diplomats, but still, nice job. We got to pat him on the back when he does a good job. U.S. withdraws from UNESCO, the UN's cultural organization, citing anti-Israel bias. Here we go. And I'm pretty sure that this has to do UNESCO. I think this has to do with Pakistan. I think this might be Pakistan again. Hold on. No. Oh, okay, here we go. The United States planned to withdraw from UNESCO, citing financial reasons. That's so funny. Now we can pull out of all these deals and just be like, yeah, we don't have the money. And that's just such kind of a Trumpian business thing to do. It's exactly what he said he was going to do, and he's doing it. So, we voted him in. I guess we can now tell our partners that we ran out of money. I mean, we just ran out of money. That's not a long-term strategy if we want partners in the future. But sometimes, you can pull that one out of your back pocket, I guess. United States planned to withdraw from citing financial reasons, as well as what it said was anti-Israel bias at the UN Educational, Science, and Cultural Organization. Oh, that's what that is. UN's Educational, this is the UN. Oh, that's what UNESCO means. Educational, Science, and Cultural Organization. UNESCO was notified Thursday morning of the U.S. intention to withdraw at the end of 2018. The State Department said the United States would like to remain involved as a non-member observer state. The withdrawal means the U.S. will halt the arrears? Is that a word? I don't know. This one has got to be a word. It's not like this is going to get past the copy editor. Okay. The withdrawal means the U.S. will halt the arrears. It has run up since it stopped funding the organization in 2011 and protest the admission of the Palestinian Authority as a full member. Oh, so in 2011, I guess they made the Palestinian Authority, I guess they made it a member state. And since we have our ties to Israel, that was unacceptable and we pulled out. But I guess we didn't completely pull out, and now we don't want to give them money. With no sign that the U.S. concerns would be addressed, Rex Tillerson decided to pull out. Well, that's just kind of funny. Probably what was going on is they were moving on with other business to talk about, and the Americans were like, dude, we still got to talk about the Palestinians. We're not happy about that. It happened in 2011. When are we going to bring that up to the table? And they just never got to it. They're like, oh, no, we'll get to it. And then I'm sure Rex Tillerson was like, dude, my predecessors were trying to get this talked about. I'm trying to get this talked about. How about this? We're just going to pull out until we talk about this. State Department officials said they hoped to withdraw, help push UNESCO to make changes that it would satisfy Washington so the U.S. can resume full membership. Okay, that's totally what they're doing. This is a bit of a semi-bluff. We just want to have our issues and our I guess issues, what we want to have talked about at front and center, and we're not going to be there until it is. I'm sure we're getting sick and tired of talking about other countries. Nikki Haley, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, said the last straw was when UNESCO designed the old city of Hebron in the West Bank with its tomb of the patriarchs, a Palestinian, it's calling UNESCO's political organization a chronic embarrassment. Haley added, just as we said in 1984 when President Reagan withdrew from UNESCO, U.S. taxpayers should no longer be on the hook to pay for policies that are hostile to the values. Okay, well, I don't know too much about UNESCO, but we should probably be paying into it if these people are partners with us and we get something out of it. But if we are getting put on the back burner and our issues are not being talked about, maybe this hardball diplomacy is the way to go. It's not like the old diplomats were doing very good. So this one I'm going to say is neutral. I don't think that this is like, it's not like we pulled out of the Paris Accords, but the Paris Accords, it was way bigger and way more money, and it was different. So I think that's just a much bigger thing than pulling out of UNESCO. Honestly, I didn't even know what it was. And it's part of the UN, which in all honesty, doesn't seem to have a stick. They just love to talk. But nonetheless, this is a neutral. We'll come back to this later. I'm not totally sure. Maybe this was a good idea because as an Americans, we need our diplomats to secure our interests abroad. So I think this might be somebody else being the bad guy for all of us. Okay, let's go to a new article. Let's see. Samantha Bee blasts White Cosby, Harvey Weinstein shares penis PSA. That's a pretty good title. Let's go to the Hollywood Reporter. Now, let's see if we can read this title again. Samantha Bee blasts White Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and shares penis PSA. All right, well, I am not a big fan of Samantha Bee. Like, I don't watch. I mean, when I watch her show, and I've only done it a couple times, to me, she's not very funny. I would consider it like first level humor. A step back from, let's say, like somebody like Colbert, who was like second level humor when it comes to this kind of thing. She's just kind of basic, but she's fine. No big deal. Here we go. The TBS host offered advice for male execs on how to behave in the workplace. Well, this is probably good advice for everybody, because it's a lot easier to be creepy than you think, and we're all a collective sorry from the males. We're creepy. Samantha Bee had some words of advice for men to avoid ending up in Harvey Weinstein's current situation during her Wednesday interview. And he's in a terrible situation. He lost his company. He lost his wife. I can't imagine there's anybody on the planet who is hurting more right now than Harvey Weinstein. But also, there's equal and opposite reactions to what you do. The Full Frontal host shared her penis PSA for men in the workplace following sexual harassment claims from the actress's made against Weinstein, who has since been terminated from his company after an explosive August 5th New York Times report. Basically, don't pull your dick out. That seems to be a pretty good place to start. Fellas, I'm a big comedy star, Hollywood executive, and I found that it's quite easy not to masturbate in front of my employees. In fact, it's one of the easiest things I don't do, said B. Every day I wake up, get dressed, take the subway to work, and I don't masturbate in front of anyone. Yeah, you know what? That's just good advice. B added, next time you get the urge, just ask yourself, am I in front of an employee or colleague? If the answer is yes, just don't do it. All right, well, B told men everywhere that she's sorry to tell them no one wants to see your dick in any context, and that it shouldn't be whipped out at film festivals or in text messages. Yeah, you know what? That's one of those things, keep your dick off the internet. And if you are going to do it, let's see your face. If you have the balls to do it, we got to see the whole thing. We got to see it's you. Otherwise, it's just gross. And penises are just less gross when you're farther back, and it's just kind of there. You can blur your eyes while you're watching. B told men everywhere that she's sorry to tell them, quote, no one. Oh yeah, just stop and ask yourself, what is our power dynamic? Is there a chance in hell that this person might not be agreeing to see my hideous dick out of fear for their career? Being concluded, if so, make a good business choice and keep your business in your pants. Good talk, guys. Well, that's kind of funny, and that is actually the interesting part of what she just said, and kind of this whole story is that it's sometimes it's very hard for if you're a male. It's very hard to know what other males are doing because you're not them. It's kind of like we didn't realize that black people were getting beaten up by the cops until we saw videos. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And honestly, I guess because I've never been in a position of power, I never quite thought about what you could do without actually saying it if you are somebody's boss. And it's the power dynamic that matters. This is actually pretty well written and pretty concise. It has to do with the power dynamic, and that's, I don't know, for some reason I just had never put the two and two together like that. I always realized, oh man, well, maybe women would be more inclined to sleep with somebody that's famous and rich, and maybe that's true, but I never thought what could happen if that famous and rich guy actually turned the tables on the women and then used it to his advantage to just get loads of women. Because right now we're just kind of seeing the misses, the people that said, oh yeah, I didn't do anything with them, and they came out on the internet. But there must be hundreds of top tier actresses that have had to put up with this garbage and actually went through with it. But I don't want to speculate on that. Anyway, B also addressed Weinstein directly, introducing her story by saying that recently America encountered this season's second destructive vortex of moisture named Harvey. This is, on paper, this is pretty funny. Let's watch it. Maybe she's just not as funny as her writing.
Introducing.
Oh God, you got 15-second videos for 40-second commercial, or 15-second commercials for 50-second videos.
All in one place. Auto Trader.
We're getting taken over by ads. The internet is going down.
Hey everyone. With all these big sexual harassment cases going public, men are getting concerned about how they can avoid being accused. Some have even stopped having solo meetings with women at all, which is great for women's careers. Thanks, guys. So, I have some business advice. Fellas, I'm a big comedy star / Hollywood executive, and I found that it's quite easy not to masturbate in front of my employees. In fact, it's one of the easiest things I don't do. Every day I wake up, get dressed, take the subway to work, and then don't masturbate in front of anyone. Next time you
That's pretty funny.
urge to masturbate, just ask yourself, am I
We should all be collecting our shaking our heads.
The answer is yes, don't. Just don't. And also, while I have you here, man, I'm sorry to break this to you, but your dick is ugly.
They are.
No one wants to see your dick in any context. Even the straightest, horniest woman who loves you the most is hoping you can get it inside her without her having to look at it. So definitely don't show it to strangers. Don't text pics of it to people, and don't whip it out at film festivals. Your dick is objectively the worst thing about you. If you want to send a lady a picture of something, try your nipple or a pinky toe or a favorite mole. Don't masturbate in front of people who haven't specifically asked you to, and even then, stop and ask yourself, what is our power dynamic? Is there a chance in hell that this person might only be agreeing to see my hideous dick out of fear for their career? If so, make a good business choice and keep your business in your pants. Good talk, guys.
This has been important business advice.
You know what? That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Everything she said was true, and it was funny. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. At least 24 dead in. Oops, too far. At least 24 dead in horrific California wildfires. Hundreds missing. Well, something makes me think hundreds missing are just people that went somewhere else. Because if hundreds of people have died, we probably would know. Let's. Oh, they're gonna load this video for us. ABC News. I guess if we have to wait for it to load, we might as well watch it. Oh god. Oh god. Pizza Rev is pretty good though. Like, it's quick and easy, and everybody gets your own pizza, which is good. Like,
Eat well, live full, be revolutionary.
see, they make you watch the damn ad, so then you think, oh, we might as well watch the video if we watch the ad. Because the thing didn't even load.
The threat from those massive wildfires in California. It is growing right now. At least 22 fires burning. Thousands more were forced to evacuate overnight.
Hundreds of people are still reported missing. California's top fire official is calling this a critical, catastrophic event, saying the fires are burning faster than firefighters can run.
Critical and catastrophic. Oh, we gotta pause. Oh, man. You know what? You gotta love the drones. This is just terrible destruction, but drones are cool. All right, here we go.
The town of Santa Rosa is just laid to waste right there. Our senior national correspondent Matt Gutman is there. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, George. When you see those fires on the march, you get a sense for why officials here are saying there's no hope of stopping these fires right now. They are only trying to slow them down. Now, there is an army of firefighters out here from 1,000 different departments, 5 different states. Now, this was the Cardinal Newman High School. You can see what the intensity of
Oh my goodness, that's a high school?
like this. And with the death toll here rising to 23 overnight, the focus now is not saving property, it's just saving lives.
Oh man. Usually schools, you would think this firefighters would like be surrounding it.
These fires are just literally burning faster than firefighters can run.
Oh man, look at the person with the sign language. It's so funny these days. Ever since that one guy was doing sign language for Obama that wasn't actually doing sign language, I can't look at the sign language people the same way anymore.
1,000 firefighters face here. As this home burns to the ground, firefighters must give up and focus on saving the houses not yet in flames. And as the fire looms over downtown Sonoma, business owners scrambling to save whatever they can.
I built 30 years of my business, and I'm not letting a fire take it.
Mandatory evacuation.
Man, somebody's got to give that guy a hand.
Into ghost towns. And an eerie
Oh,
silence now
check out that air, too.
Town of Calistoga in the heart of wine country after police went door to door telling everyone in the community of 5,000 to get out now.
It's because the air is bad too. So if you have kids, you got to get the hell out of there because their little lungs just can't handle it. It's so toxic.
That advanced warning.
Well, it's probably bad for adults too, but
Santa Rosa,
irresponsible
miles away. There, the fire
if kids are in
swept
it.
so fast that Many first responders and residents were trapped. This video, just shared by Travis Hunt,
Oh, wow.
shows his dramatic escape as the wall of fire tore through his neighborhood. And so many couldn't make it out at all. We arrived at this mobile home park.
Man, how did this
after
start?
Bob Tunis found his mother's body.
Probably just didn't hear people knocking on her door at 3 a.m. I don't know.
This embrace told his sister Jessica, who spoke to their mother just as the fire swept through, what she already feared.
I hear the smoke alarms going off, and she's coughing, and I'm telling her I love her, and she tells me she's gonna die. She can't get out of her house. She's gonna die.
This mobile home park has been reduced.
Oh, this is a pretty sweet. Oh, this is a drone shot actually.
Was identified here in the rubble. Law enforcement tells us
Yep.
that when you look at the tops of those melted mobile homes,
That was very good the way they did that, and that is just probably a simple DJI drone.
Nothing but the great smudged outlines of where.
That was a good shot, but he went too quick. Like they had it going really, really good, and then the drone pilot just kind of went up.
on that camera there,
He had to keep it more smooth.
how disastrous this was for this school. There were 600 kids here, and right there you can see air conditioner units that have fallen through behind me. I think you can make out those file cabinets and servers.
I can't imagine that that's a school. The next time there's a fire, the fire department should just go surround the school. But I guess it spread so fast there's nothing anybody can do, and it's in the middle of the night. How do these things start? I don't know. Massive wildfires sweeping through California have killed at least 24 people and damaged thousands of homes, businesses, and other buildings. Firefighters are still battling 22 wildfires in multiple counties as of Tuesday morning. 22 as of Thursday morning. Intensified by strong winds, the flames have charred more than 180,000 acres of land, damaged or destroyed 3,500 structures, and forced 20,000 residents to evacuate. But how did it start? Is it just a normal forest fire? Oh, here's a pretty sweet satellite image. And you know what? California is just awesome. There's the San Francisco Bay, and man, there is definite smoke in the clouds. But there's the Salinas Valley. Can you see the mouse thing? No. Anyway, there's the Salinas Valley. There's Monterey, and there's the Pebble Beach Peninsula. You can even see, like, man, I love satellite images. Nonetheless, let's keep going. I just like maps. An additional 463 people were unaccounted for in Sonoma County as of Thursday morning. At least 7. I know 3 of those people are my friends, and I talked to them. Oh wow, look how good this satellite image is. Oh no, those are just clouds. Never mind. There's Lake Tahoe. So that's cool. Oh, my buddy's calling me. Yo, Watson. Oh man, that was a pretty good game last night, huh? I know, but it was still a lot of fun. Calgary's pretty good. Did you watch they're not really that good? Man, you remember number 19 on the Flames that ripped off Quick's mask? I don't know. Dude, that guy was starting trouble all over the place. And is he a little bitch? Man, I knew that he was trouble. And then that last goal was terrible defense. Why did we have those people in there? We needed Kopitar, we needed Doty, and I don't understand why that lineup was in there. And they turned it over, and then they looked like professional hockey players, and they scored so easily. Oh, that. Oh, no. I don't think Quick made the save. I think that it was past. I think that Quick was on the left side of the goal because the puck was behind him. And then that third player came out of nowhere and nobody was guarding him. And then just passed it to him, and all he did is knock it right in. Oh. And then number 22, Clifford, they were both out of position at that point. Oh, I didn't realize it was a rebound. Well, anyway, it was a pretty fun game. Huh? Oh, because of overtime. But at least we beat the Sharks by 4. That was a good game. That's the Kings playing good. But yesterday, they were playing so good at the beginning of the third period, and then they used up all their gas in the tank, and then coming down the stretch, they were slowing down, and then next thing you know, the Flames had like 10 shots on the goal in like no time at all. Yeah, you know, I don't know if that game was well managed. When I was thinking about what happened here, I blame the coach. Yeah, he is not the one playing, but he was putting in. You know what? I like Dustin Brown though. But I don't think Dustin Brown was in there when they lost. Yep. All right. Well, anyway, I'll call you later. All right. I'm reading the news right now. All right. Bye. An additional 463 people were unaccounted for in Sonoma County as of Thursday morning, according to the sheriff. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to scroll through real quick and see, how did this start? Life is more important than property. The so-called Atlas, Nuns, Patrick, and Presley fires are considered branches of one giant blaze in Napa, Solano, and Sonoma counties, collectively known as the Southern LNU Complex. So I guess they give these fires names. The Atlas fire scorched 42,000 acres. The Adobe fire. You know, now that I know about Adobe, every time I see the word Adobe, I'm like, man, how did Adobe get a free word? If you make something cool, you're allowed to call it anything you want. And Adobe totally stole the word Adobe. The Native Americans should be pissed. Here we go. Kind of like how Uber stole Uber. Now you can't say Uber anymore. If you are gonna invent something cool, or you're gonna create something, bogart an existing word or make it up your own, like Google. Let's see. More drone shots. No one's ever talking about how it started. All right. Either way, loads of fires in California, but it does seem better than it was a couple days ago. Wow. This is interesting. You can see that this neighborhood is completely burned, but if you look up here, well, actually you can't see my mouse, can you? All right, nonetheless, if you look up here on the other side of that freeway, the buildings are still building, so that freeway or those train tracks were enough to keep the fire from going over. So yeah, either way, let's go back to the news. How long have I been going for? Is anybody watching? I highly doubt it. Let's take a look. One person watching. What's up, man? I've been going for half an hour, only got through a few articles. All right, Twitter suspends Rose McGowan's account. Another one from the Hollywood Reporter. I don't think I've ever searched the news on this computer. I always do it on my phone. So I think I'm just getting the most generic news possible. So, you know, pretty soon we might go down some rabbit holes. Twitter suspends Rose McGowan's account. The actress who has emerged as Hollywood's voice in the Harvey Weinstein sexual assault scandal revealed that Twitter had locked her account on Wednesday night. Rose McGowan had a hold placed on her Twitter account Wednesday night, an act that quickly sparked outrage among the many users who have been following her posts ever since the first news broke. I wonder what she did. The actress, who has emerged as a Hollywood voice after finding herself thrust in the center of the developing story, harassed and blah, took to her Instagram account to relay news of her temporary suspension. Writing cryptically, Twitter has suspended me. There are powerful forces at work. Be my voice. Hashtag Rose Army. Now, this could be many, many things. She had added a screenshot, a message from Twitter telling her that she had violated the terms. Maybe she threatened somebody on Twitter. I know you can't really get suspended for trolling, but you can get in trouble for threatening. She added a screenshot from message. She had violated the terms that she would be locked out for 12 hours. Once she deleted certain tweets, she posted a message. I guess she tweeted out a private number which falls under the private information violation. Yeah, that is something that you're not allowed to do on Twitter. And remember that these are somebody else's platforms and businesses, so they can kind of do whatever they want, which to me seems so funny that our main forms of communication are actually controlled by businesses. But I mean, I guess that's always been the case. But anyway, that's beside the point. Now, I don't know what happened to Rose McGowan. I guess she was one of the women that were sexually harassed by Harvey Weinstein, maybe worse. But you can't be putting people's numbers online. And it's not like she's really. This has thrust her into the zeitgeist of our current conversation. So I'm not saying that she is doing it on purpose to like build up her. It's not like I don't think she was ever wanted to be a huge actress anyway. I think she just always was like good at it, and that's how she made money. But I'm not gonna say that she's using this situation to thrust herself back into the cultural zeitgeist. And it's a little bit like what Kathy Griffin did. Like she would always do the crazy stuff because then she knows that other news outlets would pick it up. Like right now, the Hollywood Reporter is picking this up. The problem is that she could have super good intentions, but you can't really tell from our end. So I'm going to withhold judgment on all this. But she could have good intentions and then also benefit from it because people see like, oh, wow, she's coming out. She's very public about it. This is what everybody needs to do. And the fact that she's coming out and she's public about it means that people are reading what she's writing and people are talking about what she's writing, which is kind of how media works. So it's a win. I guess from her end, no matter what her intentions, it's a win-win. So she might as well just start going on Twitter and writing as much as possible. Nonetheless, you can't be posting other people's numbers on Twitter or really online. That's called doxing, and it can be actually really dangerous to the person that you're doxing. If you have 10,000 people that are looking at somebody and you, let's say, give them their address, now all of a sudden maybe there's one crazy guy out of 10,000 that now knows where this person lives. It's unacceptable online behavior, but we've all done dumb stuff online, so we're not going to point any fingers. But we gotta all be a little bit more responsible with our online activity. And you know what? I think I might just be a little bit of a troll. All right, world. Iran's deal foes in Congress may be unlikely saviors. This comes from Reuters. Washington Republicans in the U.S. Congress, along the staunchest opponents to the Iran deal, may be the best hope for preserving it if Donald Trump declines on Friday to certify Tehran is complying with the pact. Oh, so I guess the president's allowed to make the decision on his own. Is Tehran abiding by the deal we made if not? I don't know. President Trump is a liar, but in a different kind of way than that. I have a feeling that if Donald Trump sees that they are upholding their end of the deal, he would say that. But maybe not. I don't know. He seems to be a different type of a liar. He lies to his audience and doesn't seem to be as much of a liar towards other colleagues. But that's just the degrees of lying and different kinds of lying. Every Republican in Congress opposed the international accord reached under Democratic former Obama 2 years ago. Joined by several Democrats, they nearly passed the legislation to kill the deal in which Iran agreed to curb the disputed nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. However, the agreement in place and strongly supported by co-signers Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and China, many Republicans who still abhor the pact nevertheless. What's so funny is that everyone loved to talk about this deal and, oh, it's a bad deal, oh, it's a good deal. Israel says it's bad. Does anybody even know what the deal was? I guess it's we give them money and they have to show us their nuclear installations. I don't even really know what the deal was. But this falls back in line with Trump saying he's going to quit partnerships if he doesn't think that the other side is holding up their end of the deal. But sometimes I think in these kind of business stuff, and I think it goes in ebbs and flows. So I think that it's irresponsible for somebody to just take a look at something right now and say, are we getting the better end of this deal or the worse end of this deal? When it involves over a time period in which sometimes you might be benefiting from it more and sometimes you might be not benefiting from it more, to just pick a time and then go after it, to me seems a bit irresponsible, but that's what he said he was going to do. So I guess this means that that Trump and Trump's people are going to look over this deal, and even if he does say that this is no good, the Republicans can overturn it. And as of now, he doesn't really have many allies in politics. So I don't think that he should be openly fighting with Republicans. But who knows? Maybe that's a good strategy, and he's just playing one level above us. But here we go. Back to the news. Palestine factions Hamas and Fatah end split on Gaza. Palestinian factions Hamas and Fatah end split on Gaza. You know, I got to stop reading these articles twice. Hamas and Fatah have signed a landmark reconciliation deal in Cairo in a key step towards ending a decade-long rift between the two Palestinian factions. You know, it's been a decade. I don't really remember exactly what happened. The deal will see administrative control of the Gaza Strip handed to the Fatah-backed unity government. Egypt has been brokering the reconciliation talks in Cairo. Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank have been ruled separately since the deadly clashes between the two groups broke out in 20. So Hamas, I think these are militant groups that basically give security to these regions in the Israel, like in that area. I wonder who's stronger. I guess they must be about the same if they weren't able to handle this dispute. Hamas won parliamentary elections in the occupied territories the previous year and reinforced its power in Gaza after ousting Fatah from its enclave. On Thursday, negotiators said the new deal included the handing over to control Okay, so it seems like Hamas won the battle, and now they forced Fatah to the table. It's kind of like if the other country or the other group's not gonna negotiate with you and give you what you want, you have to go to war. That's kind of what war is when talks break down. And what's funny is the whole point of war is to force them to the table to agree to your deal. So if you win in battle, now all of a sudden they have to do it. And to me, that's what it seems like what happened. To me, it seems like Hamas, but it's not written explicitly in the article. Fatah's lead negotiator, Azam al-Ahmad, said that the plan was to carry on implementing all the causes in the agreement, especially those related to solving the crisis of the Gaza employees. Tens of thousands of civil servants employed by the Palestinian Authority have been out of work since Hamas took control of the Gaza Strip in 20. Okay, well, this is also when the group with guns shows up, they get all the jobs and they get all the government jobs. And that's kind of what happened. So, yeah, the people in 2006 are like, dude, give us our jobs back. I was a school teacher, but maybe not a school teacher, but some kind of government official. This is just, to me, although I think they're all part of the same tribe, this is just somewhat, to me, tribalism on a medium-sized scale. I don't really know what's going on. It's very complex politics. Here we go. Jeremy Corbyn, UK jihadist Sally Ann Jones should have faced trial. Oh, this comes from Jeremy Corbyn. The UK jihadist Sally Ann Jones should have faced trial. All right, well, let's read about a jihadist. A British jihadist reportedly killed by a U.S. drone strike in Syria should have faced trial. Oh, Jeremy Corbyn, he's, I don't know, he might be trolling Trump here a little bit. Asked if he would have preferred Sally Ann Jones to be prosecuted, he said, "I think that people who have committed crimes ought to be put on trial. That way, when you interrogate someone, you get more information." Jones had recruited Western girls to the so-called Islamic State after traveling to Syria in 2013. It is understood she was killed in June, close to the border between Iraq and Syria, by a U.S. Air Force strike. Whitehall officials have declined to comment publicly on her case, but have not denied the story. Well, do I agree with shooting or assassinating people from drones? I don't know. That's a very, very tough question. If she was on the border between Iraq and Syria, like in 2014, around this time, and you get killed by a drone strike, it's kind of your fault. Is Jeremy Corbyn correct that if we would have got her, we would have been able to get more information? Yes, but she probably had other people with her that were also targets for the attack. This is what I don't always agree with killing people by drones, but sometimes, honestly, I think it doesn't, to a certain extent, it doesn't make us safer. Like if you're an American and we kill, with that one guy, I forget his name, he was in Yemen, and he was kind of the propaganda, his name was Al Anwari, he was the propaganda American guy that was good at writing, and he basically kind of did all their media. Now, the largest losers when it comes to political Islam and jihadism are other Muslims. So a lot of the times when you kill a terrorist, you end up getting 2 more because that terrorist wasn't really a terrorist. And guess what? He has cousins and nephews or uncles or brothers or sisters. And now you killed one guy, and now you have 5 people that want to kill you. Other times, killing somebody like that one guy in Yemen probably helps save the lives of the Muslims in the area, though it doesn't help the Americans so much right now. To me, that's where the split is on whether or not the drone strike is good or not. The last thing we want to do is killing people that might be terrorists, but who knows, maybe they took a little bit of money, because now all of a sudden those people don't think that they're a terrorist, and all his family members want to kill us. So the problem with terrorists is that every time you kill one, you get 2 more. But sometimes I think you can shoot them. Anyway, Jeremy Corbyn is right and wrong at the same time. He's a media guy, so he's going to say something that he knows that his base will like. And in a time when there is a lot of tensions between the native-born people in England and the immigrants and people that have come in recently, you're able to get a lot of political and media hay by making these kind of statements. Even though Jeremy Corbyn kind of knows that it's a meaningless statement in and of itself, because it was the U.S. drone strike. This is more of a statement to stir your base than it is to actually say something of intellectual value. And this is all at Trump. That's exactly what Trump did for so long. For example, building his wall. It's impossible to build a wall because if the government wanted to build like a sidewalk in your backyard, you're going to fight them to the end, and it takes lawyers. If you want to build a wall on the border, you have to give up land, and also thousands of court cases. It comes to water rights, you can't build a wall. But he's able to say he can build a wall because a lot of people don't actually know that it can't be done, and it just stirs his base. So he's able to say something that's meaningless, and for his base and other people, it sounds really, really good. It's the silver bullet thing that he can say to get people on his side, especially if they're one-issue voters. But in reality, what he's saying is garbage. To a certain extent, I think that that's what Jeremy Corbyn is doing here, but I don't really know. Let's go. This thing in Spain has been going down. I don't really understand it at all. The latest 65,000 recorded at Spanish loyalist rally. Madrid, the latest in Catalonia's independence bid, all local times, 3:30. Barcelona's Urban Guard says that 65,000 people took part on Thursday's march to mark Spain's National Day and a call for the country's unity against attempts at secession. The turnout was the highest since the police started keeping track of the figures 3 years ago. The spokesman declined to be identified by name, in line with internal rules. The one officer suffered minor injuries and had stopped working when police intervened to separate 2 groups of protesters. So these people are fighting. And it's kind of like imagine if California said we're out of the union and we make the most money out of all the states. Everybody would be a little pissed. And is that a good idea? Do we get large benefits from the national government? Yes, like the army. Are they even allowed to succeed from Spain? That's what I'm not sure about. Because if they aren't even allowed to succeed from Spain, then all this is a big show to try to negotiate a better deal of some kind. Hate to see a bunch of people fighting over something that can't be done anyway, kind of like California leaving. I don't even think that that's legally possible. And what are we going to do? Fight the government? Are we going to raise our own army really quick? I think this is all just kind of for show, and I think it's also maybe stirred up by other like Brexit kind of elections. And you know what? It's kind of like in Italy, the Northerners make all the money, the Southerners don't do shit. And over years of maybe even decades, or if not 100 years of that kind of being the case, the Northerners don't like the Southerners. But they're still the same country. Anyway, moving on. I really don't understand Spain. And it's not that I'm not interested, but I'm not really interested. I'm sorry. What we still don't know about the Las Vegas shooting. I was thinking that an article about the shooting would have come up sooner. I like reading the news. I like reading Wikipedia. I just like reading in general. And a lot of times something will happen and you smell something funny about the way that the news articles come out, the way the information comes out, the way that it's written, because there's usually just kind of a standard way in which it happens. This one was different. This one to me smells a bit different, just the way the information is coming out. We don't need to watch a graphic video. We've all seen the footage. It's awful. This one smells a little bit. I don't know what's going on. It seems like an awful lot of destruction for one guy. I just wish the information was better. Another example of one in which the information came out weird was when that Russian jet went down. And at first they said it was because the jet went down, and then it turned out it was ISIS. That was another perfect example where things didn't really match up. And I'm getting that same kind of a vibe from this. Things aren't matching up. The gunman's motive, the timeline of the shooting, and why he stopped shooting. These are among the wealth of unanswered questions that persist 11 days after investigation into the Las Vegas Music Festival massacre. The lack of answers, especially about the timeline, seems all the more curious when it would appear that many moments in the shooter's days-long preparation. All right, I'm starting this paragraph over. I'm sorry, guys. The lack of answers, especially about the timeline, seems all the more curious when it would appear that many moments in the shooter's days-long preparation and the actual assault were captured by hotel video surveillance or by cameras the gunman himself installed in a suite hallway. Clark County Sheriff Joseph Lombardo has asked the public for patience, saying authorities are trying to draw the most accurate picture of how the shooting unfolded. Federal and local agencies continue to collect evidence, delving into the gunman's life and interviewing those close to him. There's more than 20,000 moving parts associated with this investigation, and it takes time, the sheriff told CNN affiliate on Wednesday. Now, that is absolutely true. For example, the investigation of Trump and Russia, that's going to take over a year. These investigations do take a long time. And it's because Vegas has all that security video camera, Mandalay Bay, it's still the same size of the group of people that are having to go through all this data. So if there's 10 times or 100 times the amount of data, which includes video surveillance cameras, if there's 100 times the amount of stuff that they have to go through, and that same group of FBI and authorities have to go through it, it takes forever. So then that's when they have to get more people on the case, and I'm sure they're getting as many people as they can. But investigations and spying and this kind of thing has turned into going through data on the computer, and that's just a workload heavy thing to do. So the fact that this information is not out yet is not totally surprising. But it is a little bit weird. Like, just off the top of my head, what makes me, like, what happened here? Why don't we see him going in and out of the building a lot with bags? I don't know. It seems like you can count how many times he took bags up to that room. How many times did he go up to the room with bags? How many times did he pull in the front and the door and the guys that work at the front of the hotel took his bags out and he said, "No, don't worry, I'll take those." How many times does that happen? It seems like it's a number we should know. And not only it seems like it's a number we should know. Anyway, what happened in the 6 minutes after the hotel security guard was shot? Maybe the terrorists ran away. If let's say that this was some kind of like a shady deal gone bad, he was an arms trafficker and all that, he had all those guns to sell them, which explains a lot. I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but it explains the facts that we have now. I mean, where did the $100,000 come from? Why did he have so many guns up there? Let's say that some terrorists came and they pretended to be buying guns, but they were actually jihadists and didn't tell them. So their only intention was to get all the guns to the site of the shooting, and they didn't even have to bring the guns themselves. If that was the goal, then of course they can easily get away. It takes forever for cops and this kind of thing to happen. So yes, this is very important. What happened in the 6 minutes after the hotel security guard was shot? Maybe there was 2 holes in the windows that would indicate 2 people shooting. it seems like an awful lot of damage for one person to inflict. I mean, I'm not a gun expert, but a 65-year-old retired guy, he became a pretty good gunman pretty quickly. I don't know. There's just question marks all over this one. In new timeline events, police say Stephen Paddock shot security guard Jesus Campos 6 minutes before the gunman opened fire on Route 91. An open door to the room near Paddock's suite had set off the alarm. Paddock opened fire at 10:05 and unleashed bullets at concertgoers for about 10 minutes. The police didn't get to Paddock's 32nd floor suite until 10:17. They didn't breach the room until 11:20. The SWAT team arrived with explosive charges. I guess they had to blow open the door. Lombardo said Campos, upon being shot, notified security, and his action helped pinpoint the suspect's location. You know, well, let's watch this video. Police didn't know Campos was shot until they met him on the 32nd floor. Oh man, I've already been going for an hour. Yeah, these videos on these websites. Oh, here we go.
Another person who was on the 32nd floor, who was working for the hotel. Stephen Shook was a maintenance engineer who came up to that floor, and he described what happened and how Jesus Campos, who was a security guard who was up there as well and had been shot in the leg, he describes how Jesus saved his life, but it gives us another look at what was happening on that 32nd floor.
I started to hear shots go off. They were not in the hallway yet, and as soon as they stopped, I saw Jesus pop out because the doors in the hallway are set back about a foot, and he popped out and he yelled at me to take cover. I told myself, you know, remain calm. If I freak out right now, it's only going to get me killed or injured, and remain calm. And
at least this guy's still alive.
Radio so we can get police on their way as soon as possible.
Now, we also heard from police that a timeline had changed, and I'm sure he plays into that because now police have spoken with him. The timeline changing drastically from the very beginning. So we're talking about when Jesus Campos, the security guard, went up to the 32nd floor because there was a door ajar and there was an emergency alarm going on. So he was
where's the pause? Where's the pause?
And trying to figure out what
I don't. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now this is the first time I've ever actually seen a timeline. So here we go. 9:59, Mandalay-based security guard shot by gunman. So that was before. This sounds like, to me, it sounds a little bit like. So the security guard was shot by the gunman before the shooting even started. 10:05, the shooting started. 10:12, officers on the 31st floor hear gunfire above them. So that seems like a long time to hear the gunfire above you. It seems like they would have heard the gunfire above them at 10:05, but that's never mind. 10:15, last shots fired by gunmen. 12:17, first officers arrive on the 32nd floor. Man, this is, oh gosh, I hate to end this on something more conspiracy theory, but this, it doesn't make sense to me. None of this really makes sense. So I don't want to speculate anymore. How long have I been going? 58 minutes. Let's just say that there's still a lot of information that needs to come out. And at a place where they have everything on tape in Vegas, you would think that they could, I don't know. Maybe why would they cover something up? You know what? I'm not saying that what they're telling us is wrong. I don't want to get into it anymore. I'm not in a position to actually know. I haven't been following this too closely. But I do know that there's some major shenanigans going down. I don't know what's going on. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll figure it out. Is the new timeline of events correct? Lombardo, nobody's trying to hide it. The fact that he even said that is a bad sign. Because he's just a witness. Nobody's trying to hide it. Oh, is he not a witness? Nobody's trying to hide anything. What we want to do is draw the most accurate picture we can, Lombardo said. The timeline might change again. Well, that's understandable, but you would think they would have the timeline down by now. It's been 11 days. Responding to MGM, law enforcement source close to the investigation said police stand by the timeline, calling it pretty accurate with all the known facts. Here we go. This is a better timeline. Why? It sounds like what happened was the security guard came to the room. He got shot. Why did he come to the room? Oh, yeah, because of the alarm, and that triggered him to start shooting then. I mean, why didn't he start 5 minutes earlier? What if all of a sudden Stephen Paddock shot this security guard? He's got to do what he wants to do now, or get out of there. You know, 5 opens fire on 2 rescue officers arrive. Paddock fires his final shots. I don't want to get into something's fishy here. The information coming out is not. It's not understandable in a way that in which the facts are explained and everyone's behavior is explained. For example, let's say that he thought he was doing an arms deal. That explains all of his behavior. Why would he be quiet about stuff? Well, he's a secret arms dealer. Why would he gamble a lot? Well, he had a bunch of money that he needed to launder. Him being there for a different reason than... Anyway, him being an arms dealer or being kind of an underground guy explains a lot of his behavior. So that's why I tend to believe that more than anything, but I don't want to get into... I don't even know if that counts as conspiracy theory. I mean, anyway, thanks for watching. This is my first time doing it. I've gone for an hour. We got one guy watching, so my guess is not going to get a lot of traffic. But I'll get better at this. Thanks for watching. Bye.